But English, I don't know if maybe it's because I've spoken English for too much. I speak it too much. Because Kiswahili now, I don't do I don't have a lot of flowing conversations in Swahili as much anymore. Maybe I even do. I speak Kalenjin more than I speak Swahili, I think.
Yeah.
At the very least, because the Swahili that as we know it is not there anymore.
Right,
the Sanifu, we don't have that. So it's mostly the Sheng, which I can't make head or tail sometimes of what's going on. Right? And the words keep changing. It's so dynamic as a language. There was a time I really tried to keep up. Then I just got tired. I treated it like the technology too. Like it's like I'm tired of all the new social medias.
I'm off of Sheng for a while.
I'm off of Sheng. When it comes to language, I'm on Facebook. I'm just a Facebook guy.
This is Selam and Hello, where stories of joy and justice vibrate with the rhythm of Africa and the diaspora.
We're worried, anxious group of people trying to move along. Maybe one day we'll get onto something. Until then, we say, hold on.
Salam and hello, everybody. My name is Lilly Piper, and as always, I am so happy that you've tuned in today. And I think you'll be thrilled that you tuned in as well, because today our case for hope is all about comedy. You know, we started this series a couple months ago to kind of dig deep into the things that matter most in our lives, the things that we need more hope for. So we have talked about how we live and how we interact with domestic workers. We've talked about the case for truth and why finding the right information from the right sources is so critical. We thought, we're getting pretty serious about these things, and life is not just the seriousness. And when it is serious, it's still important to find the joy. So we are really happy today to have somebody who knows all about finding joy, making good times happen, bringing laughter into the serious situations in life happen. And so we are so happy to welcome Doug Mutai with us today. He is the founder of the Kenya Standup Collective, co-founder of the Nairobi International Comedy Festival, and has just launched a brand new endeavor called the Nairobi Laugh Bar. Is that right, Doug?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, which we're going to hear about today. And so Doug is here to help us explore the case for comedy, why we need to keep on laughing in the middle of hard times. So Doug, karibu sana.
Asante.
So glad you made it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I expose you straight away about how many times you tried to do this interview?
You know what? Go ahead. That's how we fix it.
Let me make my own joke as we start this. This was not just take one. This was not take two. This is take three on having Doug join us. Yes. We tried 2 different interactions last week via the internets, but this is the one-man island where the Wi-Fi refuses. Yeah. But thankfully, we're here in person together today.
I'm glad, because I love it in person anyways.
It is funner. It is funner. This is true. Yes.
I'm that old school, it seems.
Same. The energy it's not the same when you're online. Yeah. So how did you end up in this world of comedy? Tell me a little bit about your career path.
Right. It's a long story that kept happening. It kept happening in different versions, in school when you're funny. Even before I knew the idea of comedy as stand-up as a thing, I just knew about entertainer. I knew I was a performer and being a funny guy on the side. That's those were the hints up front. But I really, really started, joined the comedy industry when I was in college.
Okay.
When I actually...
When you should be studying for a real career.
Yes, I should be
let me get serious about comedy.
Exactly. So an interesting story is when I was here at home, I wanted to go after high school. Everybody kept saying, you should go study drama. But I felt like I knew drama because I did it so much in high school, and I felt like I had gotten into it. So I was like, I don't want to go to school for drama. And even some people were like, yeah, how are you even gonna get a job? So I'm like, yeah, no. So I went to business school. And while there is when I discovered comedy. And then I discovered there was even an industry that actually exists, as a thing, right? Stand-up. And I had never watched a stand-up show before I went to school. When I went to Canada, and when I found out, I was like, I think this is my thing. And somehow things started aligning from there.
That's so interesting. From drama to business school to something you'd never seen before, deciding this is the path for me.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was your first stand-up experience?
Oh, for myself performing?
Yes.
Performing was one of those shows that I signed up and I kind of overhyped myself in the sign
What did you
up.
say?
So I talked about all my experiences doing all this stuff. And then the organizer was like, listen, we have a contest coming up. Because I guess to him, it was like, it's a no-brainer that if you're signing up for this, you're already seasoned kind of in comedy. You've been doing comedy for a while. So I signed up to do this contest in Calgary called the Funny Fest, and it was for guys who have done it for a while. Me, it was my first time doing stand-up. So I signed up and I'm like, hey, I would love to come and perform. He's like, yeah, you'd be good for the contest. I don't know. I show up and everybody's so seasoned. I'm doing these jokes for the first time in my life on stage. Well, I don't have a problem with stage, but the timing of jokes was gonna be off for sure.
Sure.
And it was a bit cringy. It was a bit cringy, but I survived. And the bug bit from then on, I just started this thing of, from school every Wednesday I'd drive for 2 hours to go and perform, come back in time for the next day's school, and then the next week or every 2 weeks. Sometimes it was quite a thing before I decided to move to Calgary, the city that actually had the comedy happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you're putting together a set, you call it a set, right?
Yeah.
When you're performing, 10 minutes, whatever, 20, 30.
Yeah.
Where do you start? Where does the inspiration come from?
Right. So again, it's a very long process in terms of how you begin. So you start your set, you build your set with bits, different jokes, different ideas. So that's actually where it starts, with the open mics and the open mic workshops, where you toy with ideas. These ideas you think are gonna be funny, you can ask around, or you can just trust your gut and take it on stage. You try it out different iterations of it, different pauses, different timings, different words. You replace words till you get it. You feel like it's a perfect bit. You start combining with the other bits that are related, that make it have a cohesive story.
Yeah.
And then after that, you start combining the bits that are related and the transitions to make a full set.
So it's like a puzzle. You're putting a puzzle together.
Yes.
The bits are there, but they have to connect somehow.
Yes.
And so when you start to write those bits, it's interesting that you're saying you actually change the words out, because I don't think of comedians as necessarily like scripting it.
Right.
But it sounds like there's a bit of scripting and intentionality at every step of the development.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes even you can convey the same meaning with certain words and you won't get a laugh. But you even substitute just with synonyms. Like some words are just funnier. They punch better. There's a rhythm to it. Like you also have to be mindful of your rhythm when you're performing the words and stuff like that. But and of course, so it seems like it's off the cuff, but it's not.
Right.
But then to an extent, there's some off the cuff stuff that happens. But that is with experience. After a while, you've been doing this long enough, or you just have the gift from the get-go.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is you know how to say certain things to make them funny. Like some things you'd say, somebody else says the same thing.
Okay, you have to give us an example now, especially when you're talking about there's some words that you just like to use. Do you have some go-to phrases? I've seen some of your work around police in Nairobi, things like that. The language, speaking Kiswahili, not. But are there words, phrases, rhythms that you resort to?
I can't think of them off the top of mind. Like, these are the words. But maybe if I was thinking of bits that I do, I'd be able to talk about those. I'd be able to realize now. Like, it's one of those. It's a very innate feeling. It's not like I even have the science. Like with me to be like the word has to have this number of syllables. No, but like when I say it in a sentence, it just makes sense comedically to use it that way rather than another way. Like one of the bits, I guess, a bit that would be the one for the robbery bit. Where like, I've been. How does that joke even go? I got. I don't like the idea that somebody who robs me is incompetent, that they don't even consider me, like tomorrow, like, and then as you're saying that, you're just trying to explain your frustration, and you go like, have you ever been robbed by a newbie? Like, just newbie just sounds right.
Yeah,
Right? Like, you're not gonna say, have you ever been robbed by an intern who's starting? It can make the
An
same sense, but
intern.
newbie
I like the
just,
idea of a
like
robbery
an intern,
intern.
right? A robbery intern. But a newbie just makes sense in that sense. Like, have you ever been robbed by a newbie? It's not like mugged or anything, but robbed feels right. Like,
Yeah,
robbed by
yeah.
a newbie, like they don't
Yeah.
know what they're saying. And so it's that thing of, I'll say the sentence, I can complete the story and tell you the sentence, or in between the sentence, I start doing my impression of who that robber is. Like he's like, can you get? Now I'm talking like them, and
Right,
somehow the
right.
audience clues in.
Yeah.
Because that joke initially would be when the first iteration of that line was, I was talking to a robber and he was talking to me and he was stammering. And it didn't feel as good as when you show why they were stammering. They were not stammering because they have a speech impediment. They're stammering because they are so bad at this job. They
They're
just got
incompetent.
stuck. Yeah, they're just incompetent. And that's why
Yes,
they broke
yeah.
my window instead of like shimming it like with a wire and unlocking
Yeah.
it. They broke the window. Now I'm inconvenienced.
Yeah. I was thinking it's just such a relatable experience, but I don't think we ever think about the competence or incompetence of our
Right?
thieves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes you laugh because it's relatable and also And why? Speaking of funny, there's something on your face. Let me wipe it for
Okay,
you. Pole.
thank you, 'cause I'm-
yeah.
okay.
You know,
There we go.
If
Thank
I was a better comedian, I would have a good joke
Yeah,
for that.
it'll be like,
but
why don't you eat while you're
why
here?
did
Is what
Doug
you're
bring
right?
his lunch and leave it on his face?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, one of your bios talks about your unique style of comedy and that you really bring something different to the Nairobi environment.
Yeah.
Is that because you spent all this time in Canada and that's where you started your career? Is it informed by something else? What makes you unique?
I think what makes me unique could definitely be about, I don't know if it's the scatterbrain, but like just my ability to switch by my brains in different forms, to think in different ways about the same thing. Like I look at all the angles. Like there's the comedic angle for everything. There's also the straight angle for everything, like the, professional angle. There is also the, the person who is in it angle, who's dealing with it. So in a way, I found myself at some point realizing I don't actually tell jokes.
You tell what?
I just talk about things and I try and make them funny. Because one of the most exciting things for me, especially in my career, has been able to, when I make something that is not exciting, very, very funny.
Yeah.
Like as opposed to the funny stuff, make it a joke, like the good structure of a joke, like there's those joke structures that we know that I try and stay, like I run away from them as much as possible, unintentionally. So I think, so I don't tell jokes, and neither do I say I tell stories, but I just combine these things. I just try and make it. I don't know. I'm like someone else is. I'm like someone is telling you that I try and take you there. Like I want to paint it for you
You're
visually.
a conductor. You're a conductor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that also.
So when you're thinking about your audience, who are you talking to then? If you're not necessarily telling a joke, you're not necessarily telling a story, but you're a conductor, in your mind, when you're looking at your audience or you're developing material at home, wherever, who do you have in mind? Who are you writing for?
Most of the time, actually, I'm not writing for anyone. I'm expressing myself.
Yeah.
Like I want them to go into my brain and see the mess inside. They see what's
You want to
going.
invite us to that spot on your cheek where that
exactly.
food
Like
was
I
and
want you
just
to
say
come, yes, and
karibu
be
and
like, what
see.
is, like that's the whole idea. Like I want people to come with me as opposed to I take it to them, so anybody can come.
Yeah.
As long as they can, they tap into that entrance. Once they're in, it's a whole. I'd like to give you a journey while you're in there. Yeah.
How does comedy feel here in Kenya as opposed to when you were starting in Canada? And have you gone back to Canada to perform as you've grown in your career?
No. But I did in 2015,
Wow.
2014.
That's 10 years ago, my friend.
Yeah, it's a
That's
long
not
time.
recent.
Yeah, that's not recent. But since then, I haven't.
Not
I haven't
really.
gone back.
So if you can compare the two, where does it feel funnier, or how does it differ, or how is it the same?
Right. Definitely it's the same in terms of comedians. they're the same people in a lot of sense. Like they have the same personalities across the board. Like literally when guys, I've had guys even from Canada, from all over the world pass by, and they just gel in with the other guys
Yeah.
as if they knew each other from the get-go. They start busting each other's balls immediately, or some are very recluse and they just don't talk, and they just and every character exists in every scene. So those are some of the similarities. They have the exact same mindset. I think the biggest differences here is audience. Our audience
Yeah.
isn't big enough yet. I mean, mind you, this scene of comedy, as I know it and as we do it right now, has only been in existence for the past 5 years when we started the Stand-Up Collective.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a lot of people, like an audience that has even become, it's not diverse yet even. Like the audience is still quite the same in temperament, in mindset, even socioeconomically, they are the same people in general terms. But in Canada, there was a bigger spectrum of people in terms of everything. Like again, the socioeconomic status, their mindset, the temperaments, they all existed. So I think it's a timeline issue for rather than anything else. But ultimately, the people are still the same. Like I'm sure you'll still be able to transpose those people here or from here there.
So, the Stand-Up Collective has been born and grown in some of the most difficult times in the world. The pandemic, we're like 3 of your years there, the now inflation is crazy. We've had election issues, all those things. How are you bringing that reality into your comedy? And are people ready to laugh about those hard times that we've gone through?
I think more than anything, people are ready to laugh. Because the beautiful thing about that is, I think just regardless of the tough times, I think everybody innately knows that this is going to end. The bad things, the tough times are going to end. The best I can do right now is, figure it out, cope or whatever it is. And comedy is definitely helpful with that.
Yeah.
But it's been very tough, but people are very hopeful, like in a way that it's nice. It's nice to feel like, okay, there's no more panic. Even for me personally, like there was a time where I was doing comedy because this is what I like. I want to do this. I want to be able, like, it's in a way, it's like I'm fighting, to just stay afloat and do this.
Yeah.
But then over time, I've just realized, no, just do it. Like this is your existence. Do it like your existence.
Yeah.
Like it's not a thing you're doing for anything else.
This is who you are.
Because who you are.
Yeah.
And let the people also enjoy the comedy. Let the people come out because that's what they do.
Yeah. So when you're just being you and just putting out there what comes to your mind, all those things you were saying, all the different ways that you're staying life, what are audiences responding to right now? Or how are they responding? What are you noticing that's working? What's making people actually laugh?
All right. Definitely acknowledgement of the darkness that exists. People are responding to that quite a bit. But, and generally, it's also just relating. Like I said, even lately, I've been speaking with a lot of people of my age and stuff like that.
Which is what? Okay. So, I always am looking at people like, are these my age mates or are just good makeup or what? It's very hard to tell with men, especially bald men.
Yes.
Because you're like, did he lose his hair on purpose?
Right.
Did he shave it?
First of all, I've looked this age since I was 27. So it's one of those things.
Okay, so now you said you're 27.
No, I am.
So
I am 37.
Oh, okay.
37, yeah. So I'm sure.
Sorry, I've outed you and you didn't have any choice.
Yeah.
Poorly.
I'm not. I'm so happy with this age too. I love it.
It's a nice age.
It's a very fantastic age.
Yeah, it is.
Like compared to when I was 30, it was a panic. I was like, I'm 30. Now I'm like, no, this is life. I'm enjoying it. I love it. I love it.
What brought that calm to you, you think?
I think those things I was telling, just the realizations. Like now, I feel like life has gone through a few circles where it's like things have repeated. Where it's like, the problems left, they disappeared. New problems came.
Right.
They came back again in a different version. Now I know how to deal with them.
Like this is life.
This is life.
Come, problems go, problems come.
Yeah, this is not TV, there's no fantasy.
Right.
Like whatever you even learn to manage your expectations. Now you stop wanting more than you should get. you
So
get
true.
content, right?
So
But like,
true.
when I was younger, you're thinking, by 25, I should have done this, but this. And then now you realize everybody's dealing with it.
Yeah.
Everybody is dealing with it. And that's, again, even with the audiences, that is the agreement we all have. Everybody's dealing with it.
Absolutely.
So let's just be gracious to each other. Let's
Yeah.
have fun. Let's enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
That's
you were saying that the audiences are responding to this the darkness that we're all living
Yeah.
in, whether it's these terrible wars we're witnessing or things on the ground. It's definitely not an easy time.
Yeah.
Are there topics so that you avoid because they are too heavy, they are too dark? I mean, are there topics that you just think, no, we can't touch this yet?
I haven't gone there yet in a situation where I've talked about something and then thought, okay, that's too soon or too. Again, I think it's the age thing where I just know not to go with it. Like some of these things, I'm like, they require a bit of time, a bit of finesse for them to function. But there are topics you should avoid, but I feel like when you find them, you'll know to avoid them.
Examples. I like to think in specifics.
Specifics, yeah.
Yeah.
Situation I had there was a word I was playing around with, which was the idea of war crimes.
Okay, sure.
In my opinion, war is a crime.
Yeah.
So what is this war crime versus why are we separating the two? And then what I ended up doing is exactly doing the specifics, using specific wars and then playing with them. And then I realized, okay, some of them needed a bit more, I need a different angle. Maybe I need even a license, like, why am I talking about them? What is it to me that I talk? Like, I need proximity to the subject matter to be able to sell it properly. I feel like I can still address it, but I need that. That's what I was missing, proximity to the subject matter, so I can actually give it.
I really appreciate that, actually. But everything you said there, the proximity to it, the fact that you're examining things from different lenses. There are people who definitely say comedians are some of the most intelligent people because they're able to examine something like war crimes. I've never thought about that before. The fact that why are we separating the two, know? And so you offer your audiences, I think, a different way to think about these hard times at times. Give us hope because you're like, let's think about it differently here.
Yeah.
When the one thing I've noticed that's new to me, maybe it's always been there, is this crowd work that we're seeing comedians doing.
Right.
And I saw you do a bit recently where you were kind of, playing with your crowd. Tell me how that works. Does that feel fun to you? Do you feel like TikTok has pressured you into doing more of this?
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Like crowd work has existed for the longest
So
time.
it's always been there before that guy popped off on TikTok.
Matt Rife.
Yes.
It's always been there. Rife just decided to run with it because he was also really good at it. But it's always been there. We've always used it. MCs use it to get the crowd going. Everyone uses it to even, relate to the crowd. Sometimes the material is not connecting, so crowd work is what you need to work with.
Default to.
If you're good at it, and you need to learn to be good at it.
Are you good at it?
Yeah, very good at it. I've done it for many years.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm
a crowd here. I'm an audience. Yeah,
you're an individual.
I'm not enough for a crowd.
Yeah, you need to be more than.
I need to be more.
Yeah, like you need to be sitting next to other people. Then I'll talk to you in context.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
Then I make them expose you or something.
Okay. It has to be exposing. It can't be just like cute investigative.
But actually, crowd work is just conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just that the only person in that conversation who's juvenile is a comedian. Right? Like you get, I ask you a question. And then I respond like a child, basically. Right. And so to you, in a normal conversation, it's hard to do that. Because it's like, what is this guy taking me? Is he an idiot? What is wrong with this guy? But in comedy, it's fair. It's so funny. It's fair game because I'm asking you, what do you do? Oh, you're a doctor. Oh, you inject people. Yeah. Okay, good. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. I dig into your life sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people actually have very intricate lies about themselves. That they do, and it's fun. We don't care. We just love it.
They're lying, but you just go with it.
You just go with it.
Yeah.
Some people tell you the truth, and you also go with it.
Yeah.
And it's always fun. And I think some people love it. Some people are terrified of it.
That's the people. I feel like the people who are terrified. Even as not a non-comedian, I could tell if I was standing on a stage. But I'm curious about the people who that they want you to mess with them.
Yeah.
There must be a look on someone's face when you're like, I'm actually not going to bother you because you're too eager.
You're too eager. Yeah.
Yeah. There must be those people.
Yeah, those exist. And sometimes they get annoying.
Yeah,
They start heckling. They're
Really?
talking over
Yeah.
you. They're talking. Some are funny because they just give too much information and be like, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is a show.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. And then you just egg them on.
Yeah.
But some other people just give you information that I'm like, but actually I like when they are too eager and drunk, for example, is when they don't. So the problem is when you break the rules of engagement.
Which are what?
Conversational rules.
Yeah.
Basically, like if you're talking over me, I'm talking over you,
Yeah.
it becomes a problem. And that's when some of the too eager people do that sometimes.
Okay.
Where they're just talking over you, they're slurring, they're drunk.
Yeah.
Usually
not
they're
funny.
drunk.
Yeah.
But if it's just somebody who's just responding normally, it's fantastic because it's just, you ask them a question, they answer it, they're not hiding. They're not trying to be smart about it or trying to be smart. They're just answering the question genuinely, and then you just run with it. Yeah.
You were saying that the industry is only a couple of years old. It's new.
Yes.
However many years it is, it's new compared to elsewhere, maybe.
Yeah.
What are you seeing that makes you excited to be a part of this industry? What's the good things that are happening in that comedy space?
For me, first of all, it's the reception and the audience. And then the talent, the new talent, the young comedians who are really like, they're born for this, right? And it's amazing to be even able to say, hey guys, now you have a spot, like a stage, a platform you can build your craft on. I mean, guys are making careers out of it now, which is fantastic.
You make careers. And that's, I have to just dig down into that because when I see somebody doing comedy, I'm definitely assuming this guy is going tomorrow to his job at whatever, or she really is a teacher or whatever. Yeah. So how is the industry growing here financially? Is it sponsors? Is it just ticket sales? Is it...
For Stand-Up Collective, for the most part, has been ticket sales.
Okay.
But we've had sponsors here and there as well.
Okay. But we need to show up, huh? We need to come out and show up. Yeah.
Yes, show up.
Yeah.
We've also had our partnerships with hospitality establishments that have really helped because
they're buying into this and seeing that this is
like we have these business. We do traffic exchange, even especially for the young comedians who have to practice. You can't really sell their craft per se, so you have to, it's a free show, come in.
Yeah.
But then we work out something with the hospitality establishments and it's working in that sense. But the bigger thing has been ticket sales, corporates, especially even the young, the guys who are making a living now. Majority of the money also would come from corporates, like a huge chunk of it, and then also from shows that we do, the premium shows that we are doing. We've had some TV shows, we've had 2 shows as well. And it's,
you're a writer, right? Do you write also? You were writing on, I'm forgetting the name, I'm sorry. TMI. Yeah. Are you still doing that?
No, TMI actually is off air.
It's off air, but it was funny.
It was really funny.
Oh my goodness.
We're doing another iteration of it.
Yeah, okay.
It's coming up even during the festival that we're going to be doing. We're going to do an iteration of TMI and Fake Work with Justine, which has 2 new satire shows that are happening. But it happened because that one also was actually, it was sponsored by, and then it was one of those a not-for-profit sponsorships.
Right.
But it was airing on TV.
That mic is really giving you problems.
Yeah,
huh?
right. No, I'm just making sure it doesn't.
You're making sure it doesn't. Okay, you're friends.
Sure it doesn't. Yeah, we're friends.
Okay, so.
Yeah, so we've had those shows, and even TMI was one of those shows I was born of. It's produced by Booney and Pilot Media Initiatives, and when they came, they didn't even know we existed. We existed as a scene, but then they ended up hiring the entire creative team was from our side, which was like, oh, fantastic.
Yeah. You had a great interview with that politician who everybody was. I'm blanking on his name. The guy who, Wajakoya. Yeah.
Big.
Oh my goodness. But you guys gave a platform and had a conversation that needed to be had. And I think I was thinking when I watched that, how you were reaching people who are just going to tune off when it's the legacy media houses talking or the papers covering it. You guys did it in a completely different way, which really I think is important. We need more of that as we get through these cultural moments.
Yes.
Whether it's elections, whether it's dealing with, things like even the anti-femicide movement that's so strong. We need actually comedians to be another part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
You're another way to help us actually understand and learn, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
So you're excited about the young people coming up and seeing how the industry is growing. It's people being able to actually live
the reception
by doing the reception from audiences.
Yeah.
Do you feel funnier in Kiswahili or in English? Where do you feel at home when you're making jokes?
Definitely English.
Really?
Yeah, definitely English. But there's some Swahili things that I can do. But English, I don't know if maybe it's because I spoken English for too much. I speak it too much. Because Kiswahili now, I don't do I don't have a lot of flowing conversations in Swahili as much anymore. Maybe I even do. I speak Kalenjin more than I speak Swahili, I think.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, because the Swahili that as we know it is not there anymore.
Right,
like the Sanifu, we don't have that. So it's mostly the Sheng, which I can't make head of tail sometimes of what's going on. Right. And the words keep changing. It's so dynamic as a language. There was a time I really tried to keep up. Then I just got tired. I treated it like the technology too. Like it's like I'm tired of all the new social medias.
I'm off of Sheng for a while.
I'm off of Sheng. When it comes to language, I'm on Facebook. I'm just a Facebook guy. You know,
you're like 2002.
Yeah, exactly. I'm stuck on Facebook. Sometimes I'm on Instagram and Twitter, but generally I'm just like, I just speak English and I just leave it at that, you know.
Is that going to work for you long term, you think, when you think about growing the audiences beyond the socioeconomic classes you're seeing currently in Kenya? Do you think you might have to at some point push yourself into different spaces?
I think it will work because remember, majority of Kenyans understand English.
Sure.
They just don't engage in it as much, right? And the fact that English is always the same, it doesn't change as much, means it's easier, it's gonna grow. But I'm also open to I've started doing stuff in Swahili from time to time.
Yeah.
But it's not my comfort zone yet.
Okay.
Because it's been a while since I did the work in Swahili. And then it just doesn't help that every other place where I've work environment is generally English, right? You know, in everything.
Yeah.
But there is a question to be had about that, which we have actually had, and we've been telling a lot of guys here for now, feel free. There's guys who we tell, feel free to perform in Swahili and stuff because we need to build that as well, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also acknowledging the fact that I can't do everything. It won't have to be me speaking to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the idea that even comedy is really anchored on linguistic culture and emphasis on the culture means
so true.
I might not even if I speak in Swahili, what kind of Swahili am I speaking? And am I familiar with the culture and the nuances of that culture so that I can bring it to the fore? Okay. So I realize even if I try, I might not give it the justice I need to give it.
Yeah.
So I am thinking there will be other people who will actually speak it better and do a better job of it.
You're so right about like language is not just the words. It has that cultural embedment. So using even if we go back to what was your word earlier, Nubi. Like that is, that's going to hit some ways for some people and not be funny at all because they're not going to get it, the cultural meaning behind that. Yeah. Do you retire jokes after a time? Like this one has done its service. Let it go.
Yeah.
Up country now.
You do. A bit after a while, you just transfer.
When do you know that moment has come?
For the most part, some weak jokes, you retire them just when you get tired
immediately.
Of doing them. Immediately.
Oh, it's a weak joke.
Yes, a weak joke.
Yeah, you don't drink weak coffee.
Immediately.
Let's go,
But some deliver. But you can do it for like a period and then you get tired of it. Like there are just some jokes I don't enjoy doing. I do them the first time I wrote them and after a while I'm like, I don't even enjoy this. So I just retire.
Yeah.
But most part, one of the rules of thumb people do is you record it, then you put it out. That's a good time to retire it.
Once it's on social media.
Yeah, it's on social
Once
media.
it's on recorded, documented, it's done.
But not all people do that. Nowadays, like with the amount of material that's going out, sometimes people even put their material out just for traction, for promo. So it's hard to retire jokes at that rate. So they'll still retire them and just try and fix it, create new surprises there so that when they perform it, it still does a job.
Let me ask you, just to kind of go back a few steps about even writing that first joke, and you need to set the scene and then you kind of play with it a bit. I don't know if you followed recently the Hassan Minhaj conversation. Were you following what happened with him?
Yeah.
Really funny guy, Patriot Act and multiple Netflix specials. And then an article came out, I think it was The Atlantic, that said he had exaggerated the truth of some of his stories, the scenes or the characters or who said what. And I listened to his rebuttal, which was about an hour. He put out a thing to this because it was really a harsh article. I think it even cost him the Daily Show. I think he was meant to succeed Trevor Noah. And he was like, all of these things were true. They were emotionally true. I think that's what he said. There was an emotional truth to all of those things. What's your guiding light or North Star when it comes to these jokes? Because you've told jokes that are rooted in so what's happened to you. Yeah, personal stories. Are they always 100% true, or is it just the emotional truth of it? And does it matter?
It's the emotional truth. And honestly, frankly, I don't think it matters. I think they're meant to be jokes. They're meant to evoke that reaction from you, which is laughter.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it was an unfair treatment of him.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even listen to the rebuttal.
I love him. And I was so like, these people need to bugger off. Yeah.
I think people are just demanding too much from it. Like there's this new problem where people are demanding that they're holding comedians at a higher standard than even politicians.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because we make silly for a living. We're trying to make you or take you out of your reality for a minute. Right? Like, so the idea that people are saying he embellished this. That's what you do to make jokes funny. You exaggerate. Exaggeration is literally one of the techniques.
Yeah.
So I didn't even listen to his rebuttal. I just read the article halfway and I was like, I'm not reading. This is nonsense.
Yeah.
Because I feel like whatever he's saying, it's his prerogative to do how he pleases with those stories.
Yeah.
Right? And even make up some more. I think what happened with Naked, to be honest, is people loved him so much, they wanted to believe everything about him that it hit them hard when some of this stuff was made up. And he was just this, starry-eyed Sunday school looking boy who probably doesn't lie. And I think there was people's expectations that were, I don't think there was any leg to stand on that. Like, he should have done
I agree with you. I was so disappointed because I also thought there's a reason they're targeting a Pakistani Muslim man in America as opposed to every other white comedian out here running their mouths any which way they want. So 100% on that. But that emotional truth thing did stay with me. I was like, even as a storyteller myself, I was like, how much do I need to be fact and how much can I be emotionally true? Yeah. But, I've enjoyed this conversation. You've made me think about things differently and appreciate the art of comedy just again. I've always felt like a fan, but every time I talk to a comedian and see how your minds work, my appreciation grows. So thank you for being with us. And before we let you go, this has been a series we've called The Case for Hope. Yeah. We're just trying to examine parts of everyday life and how they can bring us hope a bit more in these times that are kind of hard. Tell me what's bringing you hope right now.
Oh, man, everything. I guess about comedy.
I was going to say everything period or everything about comedy. Okay.
That's happening. Like I said, I'm telling you, this newfound peace that I have, it's giving me a lot of hope. I think I'm going to be able to do a lot more with just that mindset alone.
Just getting old.
That mindset, the acceptance of the aging is really helped me settle down. I've even been able to look, think my big picture has gotten bigger. Like, I'm looking at a bigger picture. I'm looking at bigger dreams, bigger things. We're doing things that we've just been thinking we should do this. Now we're just deciding to do them because of that peace of mind. I'm hopeful for that. And I'm excited. I told you about the festival that we're doing.
Please tell us what's coming up. Yes, how we can find you.
The Nairobi International Comedy Festival. It's gonna be like a week of laughter, right?
Fantastic.
Like, I've always been a big fan of Montreal Just for Laughs. Remember, that's like a 2-week period of just laughter, people coming into the city to just enjoy comedy. And that's the same thing we're hoping to be able to do here with Nairobi International Comedy Festival, where we have shows from Wednesday all the way to Sunday.
Fantastic.
Like, we have a family-friendly show. We have a show just for adults.
Non-family friendly.
Non-family friendly, right? Stuff like that. You don't bring your kids to this. We've even partnered with also, the Ignite culture that we were executing is actually helping us do this festival. And one of the things we're gonna do is we have a headliner from South Africa. His name is Robbie Collins. He's a funny guy.
I think I know his work.
Robbie, right?
Yeah, kind of light-skinned guy.
Yes.
Is that okay to say?
Yes, light-skinned.
I said it now, I guess.
Yeah. He's a colored guy from South Africa. I guess
for them, they still use that term.
It's okay. It's very okay.
Awkward.
I actually say that intentionally because I heard there was a whole thing. But it's an okay term to use in South Africa. Yeah, I mean, he works with Trevor Noah quite a bit. He's worked with Dave Chappelle.
Fantastic.
So
When is this event?
It's on 17th to 21st of April.
Hey, fantastic. So soon. Fantastic. That's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
Are you going to give me free tickets? 17th is my birthday.
Yes.
Yes. What? It's your birthday too, Ernest?
Guys.
Oh, you want to go together? All right.
Please come.
Fantastic.
17th is the kickoff. We start with the Kisiangani podcast.
Okay.
And it's going to be amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put all that in the show notes so people can find tickets.
Yes.
We'll put it on the screen so people can
Indeed.
get there and show up.
Yeah.
So, and then you mentioned you have a weekly event people can come to, Nairobi Laugh Bar.
Yeah, the Nairobi Laugh Bar. We have a show every week. We have a headliner every week.
Where's your show? Where can they find you?
On Kingara Road. That's in Lavington. Nairobi Laugh
Near
Bar.
Gecko Cafe, you were saying?
Yeah, next to Gecko
Awesome.
Cafe. Yeah, just
Okay.
thereabouts. And every week now we have shows. We're hoping to have a place where people can go and laugh every week.
Brilliant.
Or eventually every day.
Listen.
We want people to laugh. We want people to just have that thing, decompress, deal with your day, process your day differently.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes it doesn't have to be your spouse all the time listening to the nonsense you dealt with. You can come and listen to comedy, and by the time you get home, you're like, whatever.
Yes. This is what your spouse has told you? Like, please
stop
they
telling
got tired. Jokes.
They got tired of
take
listening.
Well, I love it. We have a lot of opportunities. Every week, April 17th to 21st, you've given us lots of reasons to hope, Doug.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed
This has been fun.
Yeah.
Listeners, we're really thankful that you tuned in. Let us know what you thought. Reach out to us on our DMs at Selam and Hello. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you're thinking and let us know what's bringing you hope as well. Until we meet again, peace.
Worry, that's a group of people trying to move along. Maybe one day we'll get onto something. Until then we say, hold on. I know it's hard, but baby, you just got to hold on. I know it's hard.